Okay, so the US loves foreign money. So you can set up an actual fund in the US, and non-US investors form an LLC in the US to invest. I mean, in most countries, the securities laws are moot, that are not important. I mean, only maybe UK, Canada, it works, but the SEC loves that. Like, we have Canadians that are setting up right now with us in the US, and they're gonna solicit money from Canadians. So the investor has to pay to form an LLC, the one that wanna invest. This is the ID setup. And then they actually, what they do is they loan their LLC from their country. So somebody loans the LLC into the US, so you can enter money, because when you set up the LLC, you can set up virtual banks in the US. It's not a problem. We set it up even for people that set up asset protection. They loan the money from, let's say, Sweden, all the way to their bank account of the LLC, and then they write a check or they wire money to the investment itself of the fund. And then you, as the fund manager deploying the money, you pay the US entity. Then they can actually either get the money borrowed back, or they can actually pay themselves principal. But the key thing is, at the end of the year, they gotta file taxes for that US LLC. Now, if the foreign investor invests directly in the fund in the US, when the fund in the US pays them back, it has to retain 30% at the source. It has to retain 30%. So why? Because the IRS says, if you're gonna pay anybody outside the US for investing in the US, we need to make sure they're gonna pay us taxes. So we're gonna hold you responsible. You're the one that got their money. Before you pay them, you need to withhold 30%. So make sure they file taxes and then get whatever balance they need to get. We're gonna refund them the balance. So I'll repeat, a foreign investor could set up an LLC, which could be set up online, and set up a virtual bank, which is set up online. They move their money to their bank account for their LLC, which they control. And then from that US LLC, they can invest with you, and you pay that US LLC. You have the best structure. They have now structure in the US. That structure, that LLC, when they fly into the US, they can have that as a deduction. They can put other deductions for doing things. This is a beautiful structure for the US and for foreigners, because most everybody want to invest in US dollars. Forget all these people talking crap about, oh yes, and the US dollar is coming down, and oh, it's gonna be, you know, let me tell you, I mean, look at the history of how the US dollar came about, and why we're the 60% to 70% of the world reserves, etc. It's like, let's understand how the US really works, and understand that you have a huge opportunity to promote your funds with foreign investors. Extremely powerful. So the non-US investor, because they don't have Social Security, when they set up the LLC, it has a tax ID, and that's what relaxes the IRS.